Good evening everyone and welcome to the Piper Report. This is my second attempt at this video. The first one, I feel I didn't really get the point across. For starters, or rather to start things off, I haven't done a video in 7 days. Kind of apologize for that. I have been actually working I had to work the last 7 days straight. So I put in 75 hours this week. So I was kind of dead yesterday, but I want to do a quick video on some things, and just so you know, I am kind of right now ignorant of what is going on. Like I said, I've been working past 7 days, 12-hour shifts, so I haven't really been able to look up anything that's happening in the world today. But what I did see a couple weeks ago, and what seems to be really compounding on itself, is that Kanye West is once more in the spotlight. And to start things off here is that I do not like Kanye West at all. I don't like his music. I think he is an arrogant fool. He's an opportunist. He always has been. He will do things to garner support. He will do things to garner publicity. And one of the things he has said recently that kind of started this whole thing was his support for Candace Owens. Now, for those who don't know who Candace Owens is, she goes by the other name of Red Pill Black. She is a political activist, and she is infamous for creating a doxing website a couple years ago. Now, doxing is bad. I think everyone disagrees with the concept of doxing. It is immature, childish. It is just plain rude also. When you dox somebody, you basically are destroying their private lives. So, I'm not saying you should dislike Candace because of that, but instead of her apologizing and admitting what she did was wrong, she doubled down. Then she tripled down. She didn't apologize for it, and she attacked anyone who criticized her. She attacked anyone who asked her questions about it. They didn't even criticize her. They just asked questions. Can you explain why you did this? Can you explain why they did that? And then she would either block them on Twitter, block them on YouTube. And then for those who still questioned her, she would call them racist, or she'd call them left-wing idiots trying to destroy her career. And it's really annoying because she admitted what she did. She didn't admit she was doxing, but when she was creating her website, she was explaining what it's going to do. And it was the definition of doxing. I think she would have more support if she admitted what she did was wrong. And if she said, you know what, back then I was different. I was still a Democrat. I didn't change it. I didn't mature yet. I am sorry for creating a doxing website. I am really sorry, and I hope you can forgive me. If she would say something along those lines, I think she would gain a lot of support back. But since she doesn't, and she keeps doubling down here, it's only making it worse. But anyways, Kanye West basically supported her. He said that she is a clear thinker, a good thinker. I really don't know offhand, to be honest. I can't remember exactly, and that kind of caused a firestorm, which gave Candace Owens also more publicity, which, of course, she just loves because she's kind of opportunist like Kanye as well. But anyways, so when I hear Kanye West tweet things like this or say things like this, I'm not sure if he actually believes it or if he is just saying that to get publicity. It's actually a pretty interesting question because both of them could be really accurate. Now, here's the thing with this. So, this word, what I'm about to say here may sound kind of bad, but I'm not talking about this word, okay? Basically, back then, African Americans that were slaveholders, it wasn't their fault, okay? But in the contemporary world, in modern America, in the last maybe 50 years, the more that they vote for Democrats, the more shitty their life will be. They keep digging themselves a bigger hole every year because of Democratic policies. And if they keep on voting Democrats in every single year, then they're never going to be able to dig themselves out of that hole. It is Democratic policies that are destroying the black community. And the Democrats do this every single election cycle. They will say that Republicans don't care, that they are rich white men that want you deported, that want you even killed, or that think you should be in prison. And they fool many African Americans. They fool a lot of people, and those people continue to vote for them. And then, when they get into Congress, or when they get into some position of power that can modify that can create, modify, whatever, policies, they never do. They still keep them on the leash. So then when the next election cycle can come around, they can say, you know what, we're working on it. Just give us another chance and we'll be there. We're helping you. Some of them even try to manipulate African Americans, saying that, see, your lives are a lot better than they were 5 years ago, weren't they? And for the most part, I think most African Americans don't believe that. But since they have this stigma against Republicans, because they think they're racist white people, they're afraid to vote Republican. And I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. But I think it's clear to most people that Democrats do not want African Americans to be successful. They want them on the lower rung of the ladder. They want to use them for votes. That's what it comes down to. And sometimes they might, like Obama did, increase entitlements. But increasing entitlements doesn't help anybody at all. If you really want to help people get out of that hole, you have to get rid of entitlements. But here's the thing with this. If you are, or if you think entitlements must be active, if they must be disseminated, if they must be dispersed to people that on the lower ends, people in poverty, then you should look at an alternative to entitlements. You could either do a UBI, a universal basic income, or a negative income tax. I think I am going to do a separate video on the negative income tax because it's a really interesting idea. And I know Milton Friedman, who is a pretty popular free market capitalist, he really pushed it. Now, I have to clarify. A UBI or negative income tax would have to be as a substitute to entitlements, not as a supplement to entitlements. I did a video a while back on a UBI, a universal basic income, and I said that if I had the choice between having a country that uses entitlements or having a country with no entitlements and uses a UBI instead, I would go with the UBI. And I actually lost a couple subscribers because of that video. People called me a communist for even suggesting that. But the fact is that it is damn near impossible for us to live in a completely free market country. Back then we probably could have, but not anymore. And the reason isn't because we don't want to. The reason is because a lot of our citizens are so far down in poverty, are so reliant upon entitlements, that if you just remove them all right away, there would be massive outrage. There'd be riots. So, instead of just removing them all away, I think we should switch to a negative income tax and then slowly wean off. A negative income tax and a UBI are kind of similar, except a negative income tax does not really allow people to live off that income. It's not like you get your, I think it's weekly, or it could be set up however. It's not like you get your check in the mail and you're like, okay, I'm going to live off this now. And you do that for life because that encourages laziness. But basically, the way the negative income tax is set up, or rather, the way that Milton Friedman wanted to set up, it would actually encourage people to go out and get jobs. I really won't expand on it a whole lot. However, it is a good idea, and it should be adopted. It should be adopted as a replacement to entitlements. Not as a supplement, but as a replacement, an alternative. But anyways, kind of went on a little digression there. It's a fact that the reason why, a big reason why, not the whole reason, but a big reason why there is African American, there is suppression of economic prosperity for the African American community is due to democratic policies. And if they really want to get out of this slump, if they really want to change things for the better, they need to quit voting for these people that are purposefully holding them down. These people do not want them to succeed. They want them to fail so then they can say, I am the only one that can save you. People are starting to wake up to this, but not enough. There has to be change. But you can't force change on people. Those in the black community have to decide enough is enough. We are no longer going to vote for people that don't want us to succeed. You can't turn to violence over this. You can't blame others for this. If there's not a candidate there that you don't like, or that you think doesn't best represent you, then you need to step up maybe and run. Then you need to coalesce around people. Then you need to create a party. Then you need to do things for the betterment of yourself and your family and those in your community. If there is not somebody there that you agree with, if you don't trust anyone there, then you must make different choices. You must find somebody that cares. And if you can't find somebody, then you yourself may have to stand up. And that is how it is. Einstein said that insanity was doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Well, we can apply that to voting for the Democratic Party. Voting for them over and over and expecting that you're going to actually achieve prosperity by voting them in. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen under Obama. And I know many African Americans thought that that was their best chance because Obama was black. And maybe he could understand them. He could understand them just from an ethnic point of view and perhaps help them. But it didn't happen. Black unemployment actually went up. It's coming down now under Trump. But poverty went up. So, Kanye West, to tie this all in now, he is accurate on some parts. Not 400 years, but the last maybe 50 years. A big reason why the black community has been under suppression for economic prosperity and suppression for a better life in general, is due to voting in Democrats. So, to some regards, his statement is correct. But like I said before I went on this diatribe, this word, I wouldn't use this word at all. Slavery. I wouldn't use this word. Because it wasn't their choice to be slaves. But it is their choice. Not all of them. But the ones that keep on voting in Democrats who don't care about them, they are making that choice. And they are making that choice to remain under oppression and suppression. And I think that is the crux of the issue here. Here's what Kanye said, I believe. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like you were there for 400 years and it's all of you all. Like we're mentally imprisoned. Like slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks, he said. So prison is something that unites us as one race. Blacks and whites being one race, we're the human race. Again, I'm not sure if he means what he says or if he is just saying that because he was once more in the spotlight and now he's trying to milk it for all he can. It's hard to tell with Kanye West, just like it's hard to tell with Candace Owens. Now it seems like the two are teaming up. I think Candace Owens was even invited on Fox News, which, I'm sure she loves that. I'm sure she loves that now. She's probably milking in the money now. I'm sure many other media organizations are going to try to get her to come on their show as well, so she's loving it right now, which is sad because she doesn't deserve it. Not until she apologizes for what she did and admits what she did was wrong. Not double down and said she did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong at all. But I think this video went on long enough. I hope I made myself clear that I'm not saying African Americans, it's their choice that they're slaves right now. But for those that vote for Democrats in office, that is their choice. Why they are having oppression right now. Why they are under suppression. Why they're having trouble reaching economic prosperity. Why they are in poverty. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. If things don't work, especially after 30, 40, 50 years, you need to change things. You need to find some other people to represent you. Some other people that actually give a damn about you. Until you do that, nothing will change, and you will continue to live in a hole that you can't dig yourself out of. And I'm done.